Podcast intro music. Host, good morning, sports fans, and welcome to another exciting episode of Four-Year Starters Daily Lineup. I'm your enthusiastic host, bringing you the latest and greatest news from the world of sports. Today is Thursday, August 10th, and we have an action-packed lineup of articles to discuss. But before we dive in, let's start with a fun fact about today's date. Fun fact music. Host, did you know that on this day in 1921, the New York Yankees became the first team in Major League Baseball history to have a player hit into a triple play in 2 consecutive games? Talk about an unfortunate streak. Now let's get back to the present and jump right into our first story. Sports news music. Host, in our opening story, PGA Tour Commissioner Monahan reveals a surprising reason for his recent medical leave: anxiety. Just like a golfer facing a challenging hole, Monahan has bravely opened up about the mental and emotional hurdles he faces. This revelation showcases the importance of mental health in the world of sports, reminding us that even those in positions of power and influence can struggle behind the scenes. We'll discuss the impact of Monahan's announcement and how it could influence the conversation around mental health in professional sports. Transition music. Host. Moving on to our next article, we have an exhilarating pitchers duel between the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. It was a battle of the Titans, a clash of pitching prowess that had fans on the edge of their seats. Just like a high-stakes chess match, both teams strategically maneuvered their pitchers to secure victory. We'll break down the key moments, the standout performances, and the crucial decisions that led the Cubs to emerge as the victors. Get ready to dive into the intricacies of this thrilling game. Upbeat music. Host. That wraps up our lineup for today, folks. But before we sign off, let me remind you to stay connected with us on social media and share your thoughts on these stories. We always love hearing from our passionate listeners. So until next time, keep your head in the game, eyes on the prize, and remember to never underestimate the power of sports. Podcast outro music. Transition. Host, welcome back to another thrilling episode of Sports Buzz, where we bring you the hottest headlines from the world of sports. I'm your host, and I'm ready to tackle these stories head-on. So let's dive right in. Story 1. Northwestern football players rally behind former coach Pat Fitzgerald. Host. In a display of unwavering support, the Northwestern football players and staff have taken a bold stance. Despite facing criticism from their athletic director over a hazing scandal, they've shown their loyalty to former coach Pat Fitzgerald. It's a true testament to the strength of their bond and the resilience of this team. Story 2. Henry Ruggs faces legal consequences for drunk driving crash. Host. It's a somber reminder that even in the world of sports, consequences cannot be escaped. Henry Ruggs, the former wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, has been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. This comes after his involvement in a tragic drunk driving crash that resulted in the loss of Tina Tintor's life. Ruggs pleaded guilty to DUI resulting in death and vehicular manslaughter, and now faces the reality of the legal system. Story 3. ACC's hurdles in adding Stanford and Cal to conference host. The ACC, known for its fierce competition, is facing a different kind of challenge. The conference has set its sights on adding 2 prestigious California schools, Stanford and Cal, to its lineup. However, they're encountering pushback and financial concerns along the way. It's a battle that will test the resilience and negotiation skills of all parties involved. Host. And there you have it, folks. 3 captivating stories that remind us of the highs and lows within the world of sports. Stay tuned for more exciting updates, thrilling victories, and heartbreaking defeats on Sports Buzz. Until next time, keep your spirits high and your sportsmanship even higher. End of segment. PGA Tour Commissioner Monahan recently revealed that anxiety over the PGA Tour's agreement with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund led to his month-long medical leave earlier this summer. Monahan explained that the anxiety resulted in physical and mental health challenges, prompting him to step away and focus on developing the necessary skills to manage his anxiety in the future. Despite the difficulty of taking leave, Monahan emphasized the importance of prioritizing his well-being and returning stronger to lead the PGA Tour. The commissioner's medical leave came shortly after the PGA Tour, and the Public Investment Fund, PIF, announced their framework agreement, which aims to establish a new for-profit entity to house commercial operations for professional golf. However, some PGA Tour members, including Jordan Spieth, Scottie Scheffler, and Xander Schauffele, felt blindsided by the suddenness of the deal. They expressed concerns about Monahan's ability to regain their trust. During Monahan's absence, Executive Tyler Dennis and Chief Operating Officer Ron Price handled the day-to-day operations of the PGA Tour. Monahan also mentioned that he had offered to testify in front of the U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, but his schedule could not accommodate their July hearing. He assured reporters that the PGA Tour remains in regular contact with the Department of Justice and expressed confidence in creating more opportunities for the sport in the future. Overall, Monahan's candid discussion sheds light on the challenges he faced and his commitment to prioritizing his mental and physical well-being. His return to the PGA Tour signals his determination to lead the organization forward and regain the trust of tour members who were initially skeptical of the Saudi Arabian partnership. As negotiations with the Public Investment Fund continue, Monahan remains confident in reaching a definitive deal before the January 1st deadline. In a thrilling pitcher's duel, Jameson Taillon of the Chicago Cubs faced off against Carlos Carrasco of the New York Mets. Both pitchers entered the game with high ERAs, but Taillon showed resilience and led the Cubs to a 3-2 victory over the Mets. Despite a rocky start that included giving up a 2-run homer in the first inning, Taillon recovered and retired the final 16 batters he faced. His strong performance on the mound paved the way for the Cubs' win. The game remained tied until the 8th inning when Mike Tauchman hit a crucial home run, securing the victory for the Cubs. This win propelled the Cubs into a virtual tie for the last playoff spot in the National League. On the other hand, the Mets suffered their 7th loss in 8 games and have been below .500 since June 6th. Despite a solid performance from Carrasco, the Mets' offense struggled once again, scoring 3 or fewer runs for the 6th time this month. Looking ahead, both teams will be relying on their starting pitchers in the rubber match of their 3-game series. Kyle Hendricks will take the mound for the Cubs, while David Peterson will pitch for the Mets. Both teams will be looking for strong performances to secure the series win. In conclusion, the Cubs' victory over the Mets in a pitcher's duel highlights the resilience of Jameson Taillon and the struggles of the Mets' offense. With the win, the Cubs move closer to a playoff spot, while the Mets continue to face challenges. The upcoming rubber match will be crucial for both teams as they aim to secure the series win. Title: The Championship Journey. Background music fades in. Host: And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Championship Journey. Thank you all for joining us on this thrilling ride through the world of sports. We hope you enjoyed our analysis, interviews, and anecdotes as much as we did. Co-host: Absolutely. It's been a wild ride, my friend. From the highs to the lows, the victories to the defeats, we've covered it all. But you know what they say, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey, host. That's right, my friend. And what an extraordinary journey it has been. We've witnessed incredible comebacks, jaw-dropping plays, and heartwarming stories of triumph against all odds. Sports truly have a way of captivating our hearts and souls. Co-host: You said it. Each episode has been a touchdown, a three-pointer, and a home run all rolled into one. We hope you've gained some valuable insights, felt inspired, and maybe even shed a tear or two along the way. Host: As we wrap up this season of The Championship Journey, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude to all the amazing athletes, coaches, and fans who make the world of sports so special. Without their dedication and passion, none of this would be possible. Co-host. And let's not forget our incredible listeners. You folks have been the true MVPs, cheering us on and joining us in this exhilarating adventure. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you more thrilling content in the future. Host. Absolutely. Speaking of which, make sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things sports. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as 4-Year Starter. We'll be sharing behind-the-scenes footage, exclusive interviews, and much more. Co-host. And remember, folks, the game isn't over just yet. We'll be back tomorrow with an exciting bonus episode, so mark your calendars and set those alarms. You won't want to miss it. Host. That's right, my friend. So, until then, keep dreaming big, chasing those goals, and never forget that in the game of life, you're always a 4-year starter. Background music fades out. End of episode.